I didn't know the camera on my phone was this nice. So I hope you guys can hear me. It's the first video I'm gonna make. I'm just at the park, relaxing, trying to get the lighting right. That's better. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. A lot of wind. So this video is probably going to be titled Targeted Individuals and Gangstalking, My Thoughts, or something to that effect. So I've experienced a lot of gang stalking, as they call it, since my so-called spiritual awakening, where you realize a lot of things, revolve around you, and you have certain amounts of, I guess you could say, influence on the world subtly through the power of mind, and I guess you could say spirit. Some people would say spirit, and that term is debated. What spirit is it just consciousness? Is it an entity that is you in a different dimension or higher dimensions? These things are debated, and I don't know for sure. However, I can tell you it's most certainly connected to consciousness. Now, if I'm being completely honest here, I don't fully agree with what I would call the fear-mongering associated with targeted individuals. A lot of times when I was first becoming more enlightened and I was fasting a lot, I stopped eating meat for about a year. I was doing a lot of meditation twice a day. So I got really deep into it, and I did it to a bit of an extreme, if I'm being honest. And I don't recommend that to do it at such an extreme level. I most certainly recommend easing yourself into the idea of meditation, fasting, dietary change. All of these things should gradually be brought upon yourself so you don't stress yourself or overstress yourself. So when I first started looking into targeted individuals, before I became aware of things from my own perspective, and that's more of what I would call awakening, there were a lot of fear-mongering videos saying these people are agents, CIA agents, or FBI agents, that they're demons or negative spirits. There was a lot of fear-mongering going on with the idea of targeted individuals. And let me be very clear. I completely disagree with the majority of that fear-mongering mindset that has been perpetuated by a great many people. I can't definitively say why they would choose to fearmonger, even though if I was being honest, and I am being honest about at least what I believe, I'm sure it garners attention, and some people may enjoy living in that world where they have people around them who are afraid of things. And since my awakening, I've decided that that's okay. That's perfectly within their right to exercise their mental power to attract whatever kinds of people and situations that they want. Because why shouldn't they be able to attract whatever kinds of people and situations that they want? However, for my channel, this is my first video, I want to say that I disagree with the fear-mongering, and I want to explain what I think being a targeted individual is, and what that means for people who experience going places and having people revolve around them and gravitate towards them. From my perspective, it's quite simple, if I'm being honest. It seems to me that when you go through an awakening, as they call it, a so-called awakening, because these are just English words that can't truly encapsulate the phenomenon that is having reality shift and change based on your thoughts. Okay, that's a very unique phenomenon that many people would call me crazy or mentally ill for, and that's okay. They can think what they want. It just isn't for them. From my perspective, when you gain more spiritual power or power of the mind, conscious power, the ability to be mindful, to observe larger amounts of information as they play themselves out in your life subtly. So subtle information becoming a larger part of how you interact with the world around you. From my perspective, that is something that can to then gravitate around you. You know, it's like the law of attraction. If you put your energy into something, you're going to attract that, in theory. I've experienced that to the extent where I partially believe that it's true. I don't believe that it's completely true in every scenario. However, putting your energy towards something, even your attention, that energy has to go somewhere. That's how energy works. And from my perspective, consciousness is a form of energy. So when you have people, I guess you could say, gang stalking you, or you feel like you're a targeted individual, I just believe that that means that you're developing the ability to attract things more. And while you're in that chaotic state where you don't exactly know how to utilize this newfound ability, it can become very scary. It can be scary because you'll feel singled out. But that's the entire point of so-called awakening. You are singled out. You're being highly individualized. Highly individualized. One of the things that makes a lot of people successful is their levels of individuality and how comfortable they are being individuals and expressing that, whether it's through art, music, science, socio-political issues, athleticism. Expressing who you are individually without qualms, without fear, is a powerful thing. So when you get into your individuality, I believe that then you attract whatever you think about. And a lot of us think about other people, especially when we're in a lower state. Most of us, we're going to start from a lower state. So we have to rise up. We're going to start from a lower state, and we're going to have to rise our energy level up. So when you're in this lower state, like they say, unintelligent people gossip. People who are more intelligent talk about events, and people who are very intelligent talk about ideas and how to expound on those ideas. Sometimes relating those ideas to events, and people who talk about events sometimes relate those events to people. Okay, and people who talk about people, they are just in a cycle of continuing to gossip. I'm sure you know many people like this. Well, it's probably the same thing with our awakening. You know, we decide this lower level where people are in our mind. We might be thinking about people, what people might think. A lot of us have watched a lot of conspiracy videos about evil groups controlling things in the world. And those videos have a lot of evidence and they have a lot of flaws. So they aren't exactly true, and they definitely aren't untrue. Because obviously a power group within the world is going to have a large amount of influence over how the world operates. That's obviously true. It's just when you come into your own power as an individual, unless somebody is orchestrating psychological attacks on you, they can't really influence the direction your life goes. And even if they orchestrate psychological attacks against you, once you become aware of almost anything, as soon as you become aware of it, after you awaken, you see it for what it is. It loses a large deal of power over you immediately. So if you feel like you're aware and you feel like you have the ability to conceptualize of subtle things, subtle energies around you that might be affecting you, it's very possible that you don't really have much to fear. You know, you have a physical body, it can be harmed. Everybody knows that. You develop that over the course of your life. And luckily, we live in a fairly safe world, especially here in America, where you don't normally have to deal with the idea of physical harm outside of rare individuals and potentially traffic accidents, things like that. Moreover, once you awaken, you find that if you ignore something long enough, you probably won't see it in your life very much, if ever, if you just choose to ignore it. So the same thing is true for gang stalking. If gang stalking is scary to you, just stop thinking about it. Just think about almost anything else, preferably something that will further your life. You know, get a skill, get a hobby, learn a new language, comment on YouTube videos that uplift you, talk to people on those videos who are also commenting, who make you feel like the kind of person you want to be. These things will be much more fruitful as opposed to going to the store and focusing on whether or not some guy who's also just going to the store is following you. He could just be physically attracted to you. He could be mentally attracted to you, and he could also be spiritually attracted to you. It's easily just as possible that you have something in your mind or in your spirit, and sometimes in your body, that person feels like they need. And when they want that, because everybody can do this, everybody can attract what they want in life. It's just, most people don't know it because they haven't experienced it. And to say that that's true would make them feel like they're crazy, so they shy away from it. But everybody can attract what they want in life. So and a different way of looking at it is that you have these people who are attracted to you because you can give them something. Okay? Because when you awaken, you start to become more of a giver. A lot of us, me for instance, started this journey poor. Not having enough money, not having enough of almost anything to really make changes in the world around them. At least that was a perception. But then as I mentally started to expand my mind, I found out that people who had more money than me, who had more resources than me, they didn't have much to say outside of what had been given to them. So they were inherently consuming information and then regurgitating it, as opposed to consuming information, processing it, developing new thoughts, and then putting forth something that is either an alchemical mental transmutation of that information or an alchemical mental creation of different information or new information. And these are the kinds of things you go through when you awaken, as they say, so-called awakening. And many times, earlier on in my life, while I was in the process of awakening, I would go to the store, I would feel scared because I watched a lot of videos. I'd have a fear response inherently in my body and in my mind about people gang stalking me, being a targeted individual. However, then I just started to say, well, what if I just talk to these people? Are they going to snarl at me? Are they gonna attack me? What's really gonna happen? More often than not, I had surprisingly deep conversations with people. And even if I didn't have a deep conversation with people, just another person who was willing to listen to somebody and give them their honest opinion without judging the other person, it really uplifts somebody's day. It really does. And it's sad sometimes that's easier with a stranger than it is with somebody you've known for a long time. But that's sometimes unavoidable because you have so much baggage with people that you've lived with for a long time. So it's like if you want to run faster, you have to put the baggage down to go further. If I had a car, I can't carry baggage that's 200 pounds all the way to my car, and then go drive somewhere. I got to put the baggage down, go to my car, drive the car over, and then get the baggage, if that analogy makes any sense. So sometimes you got to let go of this weight emotionally that we carry, that's associated with our history and our history with other people, in order to become the kind of person that can not only influence our life, but then their life also. Because when you go through this awakening, you're going to be an example. Whether it's a positive or a negative example, you're going to be completely obscure to these people, obtuse, a strange angle, out there, crazy, insane, mentally ill, schizophrenic, bipolar, a lot of different words that are used to describe people with different minds. If you're lucky, you'll be a savant or a genius. If you aren't lucky, make yourself lucky. That's the whole point. If you aren't lucky, then just try to make yourself lucky. Do something. Do anything positive. Put forth any type of investment into yourself that you can. Period. Any type of investment. Anything that invests in you. And that's one of the great things about YouTube, is that if you're lost and you're listening to me, and in this regard, I feel like I'm no longer lost when it comes to targeted individuals. Or gang stalking. I don't worry about that anymore. I went through that phase a easy after a certain period of time, and now I just relax more. I experience a lot more relaxation, because that's what it's all about. Just being more relaxed and finding people who uplift you as opposed to people who tear you down. So potential principle. My first video. If you like it, comment. If you don't like it, comment. If you're a troll, comment. If you're a hate monger, comment. If you're a racist, comment. If you're a feminist, comment. If you hate feminists, comment. Let your voice be heard. I don't have too many comment standards at this point. It's my first video, so I just want to see what the response is from the community at large. So let me know.